If we say that KFC is too expensive, KFC will actually have to lower their price if we decide to go to a competitor. Great. So welcome to class for today. Again, we're going to do our usual, correct our homework first, and then jump into the class for today. Today is actually us wrapping up section 1 of part 1. So we're wrapping up nature of business. And just doing a quick recap on what we would have done so far. And next week, we're moving on to section 2. So I'm going to share my screen with you quick, and we're going to recap this homework. How did y'all think the homework was? It was good, right? Okay, so basically what y'all had to do for homework is match the stakeholders with the appropriate role. So the first one was owners, and owners actually invest capital into the business. That is one of their roles, right? Secondly, we had the board of directors, and now y'all would have mixed up owner's role, board of directors role, manager's role. Yeah, those three you were a bit confused by them, and I understand because they do have somewhat overlapping functions, but there are specific things that we have identified in the in the class last week and in the slides which are up in the drive that are specific to each stakeholder that I named here, right? Owners, we said, invest capital into the business. The board of directors actually develop the goals, and the managers maximize profits on investments, right? Because the owners are investing in, of course, smaller organizations like sole proprietorship. The owner and the manager may be the same person, right? So their roles would overlap. But in this case, we're talking about bigger organizations that have all these rules and functions, right? So the manager takes the money that the owner has invested into the business and focuses it on maximizing profits because that's what the owner is paying him for, right? The board of directors, they're actually responsible for developing the strategic goals for the business, right? So they sit with the owner, whatever, or they have the owner's initial plans and whatnot, and they know what the owner actually wants to achieve, and they sit and they try to figure out what strategic goals the business should aim for in order to achieve those big goals that the owner may have, right? Employees, of course, they perform their duties as required with their job requirements. Lenders actually provide financing for business activities. Their main role is to lend money, which is providing financing to for business activities, right? Governments, one specific role of the government is to protect consumers. Other roles of the government would be to ensure that the business is paying its taxes and whatnot, right? Suppliers, they provide raw materials to the business. Customers, they influence product pricing. And how does customers influence product pricing? Because remember, customers have the choice here, right? As much as some customers think that, we don't have the power, we actually do have the power. Because if we don't go and buy KFC, KFC will not make, right? If we say that KFC is too expensive, KFC will actually have to lower their price if we decide to go to a competitor, right? So that's how customers will influence the pricing of the product, right? The community actually ensures that the firm contributes towards the development of society. In what way do they do this? They are responsible for holding the firms accountable in the environments in which they reside, right? Or which they do business activities. So if, for example, there's like a sports day, sometimes in the community, sometimes the community might ask for funding from the different organizations in the community. And that's sort of their role in that. And now it's not necessarily the business role to give back to the community. It's more of a relationship, right? So they will do it because of the relationship that they have developed. The community is their customers, right? In order for you to retain customers and keep customers, sometimes you will have to do things like this, right? Give out sponsorships and whatnot because you want to remain in the good books of your customers, right? So that's something that they will do. And then competitors, of course, they stimulate competition because that's what they're there to do, right? They, of course, want to remain competitive. And in trying to remain competitive, they ensure that the business also, feels the pull to remain competitive, right?